Welcome to Pound for Pound, man. This is our live stream. JR and I told you we would try and see if we can do this live stream, man. And we're at it, man. We just got back from the last open practice. I think it's been a while, JR, since we've done this after a preseason game.
Yeah, and it's been a minute since me and you've been in the same room.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. It'd be good to be back, face to face with you again, which always makes for a better time anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
like you said, you brought up is interesting that they had an open practice after the Hall of Fame game, after a preseason game.
Yeah.
So that was real good to see. Something that you had brought up as we were walking towards the stadium is, what kind of vibe were we going to feel?
Yeah.
And for a practice to feel like a daggum game.
A game.
Dude,
setting.
y'all showed out. I'm going to go ahead and call it.
Yeah, man.
You Falcons fans, y'all showed up and y'all showed out because it felt like a game day. So that was real good to see. That was real good to see the fans coming out to support their team, even at a practice.
Yeah. Not to mention, I almost got ran over. I was coming back and getting food.
you had to watch that guy on that scooter, man. He was gunning for you.
We were dancing around trying to see which way each other was going to go, but I think I would have felt the impact a little bit more.
I think you would have came out on the losing side of that for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But so we wrapped up the Hall of Fame game. Obviously, the big deal coming out of that was Benkert getting hurt and looking like he was sidelined for a substantial part of the release, the rest of the preseason, because they brought in your friend Matt Sims. Back to the team after his stellar play with the Atlanta Legends. If that don't submit Schaub having a backup job, I don't know what does.
I'm still a little puzzled by that. Maybe someone can explain to me why Matt Sims has come back now. If you're trying to recreate the 2016 team, and that definitely, allowed you to do that with Matt Sims because he was here then when we made our way to the Super Bowl. But other than that, okay, camp body. You need someone else that can share the load with Matt Schaub in those first few games that the first team offense and defense will not
because you're not. Yes, I agree completely that this really signals that Matt Schaub is going to probably be your backup quarterback going into the year, which I feel like he was going to be that regardless of how Benkert played. It's just the way the Falcons feel about their backups. They look more for a veteran backup necessarily than somebody who might actually be able to play the position of quarterback because man, he didn't show much as far as what he could still do in the Hall of Fame game. That was for sure.
Ooh, yeah, that was kind of ugly, man. But I admit I was kind of that guy that was thinking that Kurt could push him, and Kurt looked like he was going to push him until that injury happened. With his toe situation, I think somebody said something about it may be like a turf toe or like plantar.
The plantar is what I saw.
Funny part about that, I had already was looking it up on this injury book that I have, ebook that I have, Pete Carroll injuries that I got on Football Outsiders before they even mentioned that to see, and it takes some time when you're dealing with these plantar foot situations. So we'll see. What Matt Sims does, at least, if nothing else, to, like I said, handle the load with Matt Schaub.
Right. So, not necessarily like they care about winning a preseason game to begin with, but definitely don't expect them to win one now.
Right.
With Matt Sims and Schaub as the primary, quarterbacks going through this.
Yeah, so all three Matts was out there.
Matt.
Yeah, all of them. So that was interesting to see. Matt did show he still has a little arm, even after not really playing.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't see him making the team at all.
I don't.
But at least he's there to help us right now.
True. And that's what they need. They need somebody to spell Matt Schaub and keep him a little fresher for the season in a sense.
Yeah.
heaven forbid, if Matt Child comes in the game, our season's sunk anyway.
Right.
So that's where it is. Let's see. No, there is no news so far as on Julio Jones' contract yet. Nothing. I expect that it should get done before the season, I would think, possibly. But nobody seems to be in much of a rush.
Well, like he said, don't be expecting him to play in any kind of preseason games or practice for that matter, even if he is healthy, because he's going to get his money. And we already heard Thomas Dimitroff said it on NFL Network that they want him to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. It's just all about how they're going to structure that type of deal with him being pushing 30.
Exactly.
I'm thinking they may do something like Kirk Cousins got, where he got all his money guaranteed for the 3 years. Is what I'm thinking.
Right. But well, let's talk about what we saw as far as the practice itself. Just asking how Devontae looked. He looked real good. The cuts that he was making, and it doesn't look like he missed last year.
No, not at all. He looks like his fresh self.
Exactly. He very much so looks like his fresh self.
Yeah.
Which is good to see. But the real shining star of the camp, in my opinion, or not a camp, at least of this particular practice, was Brian Hill.
And he continues to be.
Yeah, I mean, he showed up in the Hall of Fame game. And he's going to make it real hard for them to cut him loose at the end of this preseason.
He's really showing that he appreciates being back with the team that actually drafted him back in 2017, I believe, at the 5th round overall pick.
I feel like that right now your running back 2 spot is kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
They know what they got in Ito Smith. And so right now Brian Hill is really pushing hard. I'm not saying he can overtake Ito Smith, but like I said, he's going to make it real hard for them to let him go. I don't think you could stash him on the practice squad. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely no clear-cut guy behind Devontae Freeman right now. Word was that Dan Quinn did say that there would be like a running back by committee behind Devontae Freeman.
Right.
He reiterated today that there's no clear-cut guy behind him, and that means even Ito Smith, who had a pretty decent, rookie campaign last year, especially punching it into the end zone with no problems.
Right, exactly. Now, as far as we're going to address some of these questions that are coming up.
Let's do it.
Let's see. Olsen reminds me of Brian Hill. The year we drafted Brian Hill. He just hasn't necessarily put it together just yet. I'm hoping that he will. I'm hoping that he'll, start to show more during the preseason. But right now, he's still showing that he may be stashed on the practice squad, maybe, or at least they may try to do that. I'm not sure.
And Brian Hill said that he spoke to him in his press game, his post game after the Hall of Fame game, and gave him some words of encouragement and let him know how he didn't do well either. His rookie season coming in the preseason as well. It took some time for Brian Hill to get where he is now, especially with catching the ball out of the backfield. He continues to be super confident doing that. We saw that in the Hall of Fame game, and he definitely looked good today. Number 23, by the way, because that's his new number since Olsen has the number 32 now. So he definitely have to get used to that.
Right. As far as Ricardo Allen, he looked good. He doesn't look like him or Keanu O'Neal. Neither one of them really look to be favoring anything. They look to be back to full strength. Calvin Ridley didn't practice today. He's still nursing that hamstring. So he was on the sideline with Julio Jones and Deion Jones.
Right.
So both of them were all three of them were rehabbing on the sideline. So we didn't get to see them much. They're asking about Matt Gano. Matt Gano looks good. I mean, especially and something we're going to get to here in a minute, you're going to probably see a lot more of Matt Gano because you got, Caleb McGarry down for a little while.
Yeah. And
it seemed like we lost James Carpenter at least to what did they say it was, an oblique strain?
Hip flexor.
Hip flexor.
Yeah, so y'all do not fall off the ledge.
No.
We understand that guys are going to get banged up, and I know a lot of us are very intense every time we hear something about injuries going down. But I told y'all I'm going to support who's on the team, and I'm just ready to go through whatever, and hopefully it's not too many injuries that are going to keep guys out for an extended period of time.
Yeah, we hope not, but I mean that's a part of the game. But I honestly think that that's why you saw them go out and sign Carpenter, sign Brown, and then draft 2 offensive linemen along with keeping Sombrello, and they're trying to make sure that they have the most complete and competent offensive line that they can put together.
Yeah, of course, no doubt.
That's the way I feel about it, is that it's more of insurance than anything else.
Yeah, most definitely. And a lot of people forget about Diego Joseph.
Yep.
Who is still on the team.
And
he signed with the Atlanta Falcons too. I think a lot of people forget, and he slides under the radar. But we made a lot of offensive line signings in the offseason and what we did in the draft. So hopefully, like I said, those injuries can keep down to a minimum, and not too many of them are serious, like J.J. Wilcox, of course, and Michael Bennett.
Yeah, those were bad.
And Kurt Bankert.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
As far as Tack McKinley, he looked like he was playing. You saw both, like defensive end and outside linebacker.
Yeah.
As long as you're classifying an outside linebacker as him standing up and rushing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, something that we can talk about a little bit more. Almost the entire practice, they were using that 5-2 defensive formation.
Yeah,
they used that like almost the entire practice today. I don't know if it was just like a point of emphasis or just what they felt comfortable showing, the public, so to speak. But from those 5-2 formation, you saw Tack with his hand in the dirt. You saw him standing up. You saw him dropping into coverage. So I mean, it's he's playing on the end.
So you're going to get a lot of that when you're playing 12 personnel with that one running back and 2 tight end sets this year, guys. You're going to see a lot of 5-2 defense because of that. And we're going to be playing quite a bit of teams that run 12 personnel, 13 personnel, and all of that. And that's our best way to match up with that and counteract that, especially with 6 offensive linemen. You guys heard me talk about that before. And you're going to be facing Seattle, who was number 1 in the league. We're using 6 OL, and the Indianapolis Colts also.
Right. As far as that's good question there about Vic Beasley. Early part of the practice, Vic had a handful of real good plays. He stopped a run, met the dude in the hole.
Oh yeah.
And then had it been a live game, he would have sacked Ryan at least twice. At least what I saw. So and he's doing that from, again, standing up, also having his hand in the dirt. We saw him practicing him and Beasley, like practicing twists.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of twist stunts today, fellas, man, and that it looked good.
Yeah.
A lot of twist stunts today, and especially I believe ET stunts was in and then tackle stunts, and then you had tackle then in stunts today. As they continue to install the playbook, going through their second installment. And getting ready to, get into the season, man. It's some great things that's going to come out of the defense, and I'm just praying that injuries can stay down to a minimum.
And, both Sheffield and Miller are continuing to look. I believe it was, did you say it was Sheffield that had that good pass breakup over the middle?
Sheffield continues to shine.
Yep. Yeah,
he continues to shine. Them guys are very confident.
Yeah,
very confident.
Both of them look real well. Those look like real smart picks. Heaven forbid Isaiah Oliver doesn't, live up to it. Those guys look like real good picks. But looks like we're going to have at least a solid defensive backcourt for a while. Which is good to see. So
a shout out to Anthony Wright, man. I saw you in the chat room, man. Thank you for staying faithful to the channel, man, and holding it down with us, man. We appreciate that.
Okay, I'm reading your comment now, Anthony. Who do I think wins? I mean, right now, I think at the start of the season, I would think Bleedy Ray Wilson has a has a leg up because he's been around Dan Quinn for a year or so now. But it wouldn't surprise me that if, Kendall Sheffield, would continue to push and deserve more playing time. For a lot of these guys, it's really going to come down to how they perform on special teams.
Special teams, right.
So keep an eye on that. Like, definitely during the preseason, keep an eye on special teams and see who's making plays and who's around the ball.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a way for these guys to earn that trust and earn that rep back back on the field.
Yeah. How you say his name, because it's very interesting. He Rishi Mahan. If I pronounce that wrong, hey man,
sorry.
I'm sorry. He wants to know, is it more 4-3 or 3-4?
It's both.
It's both.
It's a multiple. It's a multiple front.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that Dan Quinn has said since he got here, is that he wants a versatile defense.
Yes.
You can see that by who they sign. They sign guys that can play inside, interior.
Yep.
Sign guys that can play on the edge. All that is there for is so that they can mix up the fronts.
Yes.
That's the whole point and the whole job of the defense is to confuse the offense, right? So Dan Quinn is looking for a multiple front, hybrid defense. I mean, hybrid kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth from the Mike Smith days. Their hybrid was, I don't think they didn't know what was going on, but the hybrid defense is more or less, like I said, you're going to see 3-4, you're going to see 4-3, you're going to see 5-2, which we've been seeing a lot in this preseason so far.
You're going to see the kitchen sink,
everything.
The toilet, and everything thrown at all these offenses. That's what you're going to see. Right. So
whatever Dan Quinn thinks is going to get the
work
job
that
done.
day. Yeah, how to get the best matchups. That's what he's going to do.
I mean, that's what the great coaches of this league do. That's what that guy up north in the Evil Empire. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He switches it up, but whatever he thinks is going to work.
And that's what
he's going to do.
So I think it's fair to say that Christian Blake, number 13, is pushing hard for the 5th or 6th
he is pushing
wide receiver
real hard.
spot.
I mean, like, as much as I like Justin Hardy, old Freak Magic, he needs to be looking over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Because Christian Blake and Russell Gage are coming for his job.
Yeah, he got some. Yeah, there's some hungry guys that are itching to take his spot right now, making it very hard for him. And Christian Blake looked good in that Hall of Fame game.
In the Hall of Fame game and in the practice today. Like every time I was like, oh man, who is that? Every time I said who is that, it was Christian Blake.
Christian Blake.
So as far as Duke Riley goes, he's not practicing right now. He's got I think it's a groin issue.
He's gonna have an issue making his team if he don't get healed up and make it out there on the field. That's what he got.
With the way Jermaine Grace is playing and Trey Crawford is playing, they're showing a lot more like instinct and athleticism than. Well, I don't want to say that Duke Riley's got all the athleticism in the world. Yeah, he does. He just doesn't have much instinct.
And I believe in him. I believe in everybody this year that they can have a great year. And Trey Crawford is number 49, I believe, by the way.
Yeah, y'all need to watch.
He's been flashing very well out there. And of course, like you said, Jermaine Grace has been doing a pretty good job. I believe he's number 53.
I believe he is.
I believe he's
number 53.
He's been looking good. They was running a few blitz packages with him in there today on the field. So we'll see how that goes.
And as far as like Cutter's offense, like is it incorporating like Shanahan's schemes? Sean Long was asking, based on what y'all see so far, what are your expectations from the offense and Cutter's scheme? Is it still Shanahan-esque? And there, you see it in it.
Yeah, it
like
is.
You saw it in the Hall of Fame game with those naked rollouts. That touchdown. The touchdown with Brian Hill. Like you had all the offensive linemen flowing.
Yeah, in one direction.
To the right, and then they rolled out. I mean, that's that outside zone scheme. Yeah. Which is what Dan Quinn wants to run. But this time around, the difference between having Cutter here and having, when you had Sark the last couple of years, is with Cutter you actually have a professional NFL offensive coordinator.
Right.
He may not have been all that great as a head coach down in Tampa, but the man can run an offense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, I believe, you had to have that for Quinn to feel comfortable.
Right.
And I think that's why you end up having Quinn and, or not Quinn, Cutter and Malarkey.
Yeah.
Because now Quinn can trust that they will handle that offense so he can focus on the defense.
So, yeah, and to jump on that a little bit more, yes, Cutter is showing that he knows Kyle Shanahan's offense. I think about the play to Jaden Graham, the rookie. They ran a 13 personnel with 1 running back and 3 tight ends, and this is the exact play that they ran against New Orleans Week 17 in 2015, which Tony Mariaki took for a touchdown. Although the play resulted in a 16-yard catch, he ran that same play, and he was running many other plays that Kyle Shanahan did well in and calling for the Atlanta Falcons. So you also saw him incorporating his own style with the 7-step dropbacks and the 3-step dropbacks out of the shotgun, which he is known to call for his quarterbacks to help them in the offensive line. And you saw Kurt Bankert before he went out zip it coming out of those 7-step dropbacks and the 3-step dropbacks out of the shotgun. So, yes, he's incorporating both Kyle Shanahan and his offense. And right now, it's looking like it's going to be pretty good for the Atlanta Falcons.
Let's see what we got here. Marty Young. Watch Beasley get kind of moved out of the picture for Kaminsky. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. They seem to be like different kind of players. Like, I think Kaminsky is more of a defensive tackle than he is a defensive end. I think he can do both. Yeah,
which is what
Dan Quinn likes and enjoys. But I don't think that you're going to have Kaminsky taking, Vic Beasley's role.
No, they're going to give Vic Beasley every shot to do what he needs to do this year, regardless if he has 3, 4, or 10 or 13 sacks, which we hope he gets.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that 2016 spirit jumps right back on him this year in 2019.
and again, with Mr. Marty Young here, Matt Schaub's arm is dead. Need to move on and save the cap space and keep Benkert. I agree his arm's dead. Now, as far as saving the cap this year, if I'm not mistaken, it would only save you like $1 million, which in NFL terms isn't really enough to move the needle. But I think what they like with Schaub, like I said earlier, is the things that he does to help Matt prepare for a game. And so I would expect that next year you would probably see Schaub get cut and they keep Benkert. In a way, and I hate to say it, and I hate to sound like this, that injury to Benkert for them is almost a blessing. Yeah. Because now they don't have to try to figure out how to stash Benkert.
Right.
They can just move him to IR and then worry about it next year. They get to keep him without worrying about anybody poaching him off the practice squad. Yeah. And they get to keep Schaub, which is their veteran leadership. Yeah. As far as that veteran presence on the backup QB that they like so much. So it's almost a blessing. I hate that he's hurt.
Right. But
I would like to have seen him for the rest of the preseason.
It works out for them in the long run. It really works out for them.
Let's see. What is this? Bug. Falcons Nation 35 watching, 75 likes, and 1 Saint fan that dislikes. I ain't gonna call out a Saint fan like that. Anyway, but now, so you got anything else that you want to bring up?
Well, I mean, it's nothing really else to talk about. I mean, it was a great camp today. It was great last open public practice that you got to see. The energy was definitely there.
Yes.
Like you said, it looked like game time atmosphere. Guys that were making plays all camp continued to do that in the Hall of Fame game, like Kendall Sheffield, Jordan Miller, Christian Blake, all of them guys, and they continue doing that today, which was a great time to go because you got to really see the guys that are really looking at.
Right, you got to see what they were focusing on, being that 5-2. Yeah, you saw a lot of 12 personnel.
Yeah, a lot of that today.
So that was really good to see. I hope to make it to some games this year. It always just depends on what the finances look like.
But
that's why I jump on
straight up for real.
Yeah,
right
I mean, but that's
Straight up
why
for real.
you jump on. At least for me, I jump on this military appreciation day. Because you get to go to the bins, you get to see the guys, you get to experience the atmosphere, and it was again way more than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, definitely.
That was really cool to see. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be able to make it to any games this year, unless some of y'all are offering up tickets.
Hey.
No? I will be at the Jets preseason game. I was able to get tickets to that, so I'll have more to say after the 15th. That will be the third preseason game, but only because of the Hall of Fame game. So it'll more or less be like the second. So I don't know if they'll be doing a dress rehearsal or not. But either way, I watch preseason for the rookies and the depth guys. I mean, I know what our team looks like, so.
Let's see if we get one more question in, and we'll end it there.
Okay, let's see. Well, we go with, what do you guys think? Okay. We kind of already given our thoughts on Beasley. It really just depends on him, how he thinks he wants to play. Our thoughts on week 1 versus Minnesota. I hope the offensive line is good by then, because they got some dogs at a hunt.
Yeah.
Anthony Barr, Daniil Hunter, and Everson Griffin. I hope that the offensive line has gelled by then. So.
And as far as Eric Salbert, because
I saw that comment. Yeah.
You all just asked about him. Is he showing up? Not really.
He might be showing up to the practice squad.
Yeah, and that's probably about it, because last year we heard a lot about him, and he died out in the preseason and the season, and right now he's all the way dead as far as
as far as I've seen. Anthony, as far as joining up with all those other guys, right now we're just going to kind of focus on doing us, as far as our channel and things like that. Those guys do a great job, especially with Lieutenant Dan with his breakdowns and Mad Mike.
We love to watch. We love to watch and see everybody's takes on what they're doing.
Exactly.
We do have some things that are in the works. Did you want to?
Yeah, we can go ahead and kind of somewhat tease it out. We're in the process of getting a podcast up off the ground. Look for that in the coming weeks. Especially, we're going to have it done before the first game, before the Minnesota game. And when we do, we'll have all the links and all that other stuff for y'all to download, listen to, if that's something y'all want.
And it will be under Big Heads Media. They approached us about doing a podcast on the Atlanta Falcons, as they get a lot of other podcasts that represent their team for the year. And we're definitely excited about that venture for JR and myself. Like you said, we will be doing podcasts, and it will be available on other digital outlets.
Right.
As well as we have merch coming. That you will be able to purchase shirts for pound, those who want to represent the pound for pound family. So we're just kind of working on our thing right now. Hopefully, at some point, we'll get to working with other people and things of that nature. But we're just trying to try new things. JR, it's been a while since we've gotten together.
Exactly.
And we're trying to make this year one of the best years we've had coming together. So definitely look out for that podcast.
For sure.
Big Heads Media. And you can also find them on Twitter, because they will be tweeting out when we do the podcast and things of that
And
nature.
speaking of Twitter, you can always follow me and Toby. I'm at Grim1128. That's with 2 M's. And,
yes, and I'm at Toby D 1991.
And trying to increase presence there. So if y'all want to ask us questions, get our opinions or whatever, that's a good easy way to let us know.
What's up, James? How's it going, man? I mean, that's all we have, man, right now, man. But we love you guys staying faithful to the channel. Continue to subscribe to it, like it, share it, comment on it, all those beautiful things that you guys continue to do, man. And
we appreciate it.
And right now, hey, we out, pound for pound.
Take it.